Okay, so I'm doing the psychology of breakups, and basically I'm going to be explaining why people break up. I have three perspectives that are possible explanations on why people break up. And the first one is the behavioral perspective, and as you guys should already know, the behavioral perspective in psychology is a perspective that focuses on learned behaviors. I've come up with some examples on why people might break up from the behavioral perspective, and one of them is lessons. And lessons can be learned through our own actions and or by watching others. For example, most of us girls have learned that when a boy cheats, the first thing we should do is break up with them. If it's your first time dealing with a cheater, then you might not have learned that you should leave them. But if you're a girl who's experienced guys that have cheated on you, then you already know that it's not worth it and you have to break up. And another one is breakups don't just happen, they always have a reason behind them. And if you're a kid with divorced parents or siblings who, of course, are old enough to date, then you'll understand what I say when I tell you that some kids learn their way about relationships by observing relationships at home. For example, if you have a brother or sister that doesn't really like serious relationships, and every time it starts to get serious with the other person, they break up with the other person, then the kid observing the behavior has now learned to believe that every time a relationship gets serious, it's time to leave and break up with the other person. And a cognitive perspective of why people break up has to do with the mental process, including how people think, perceive, remember, and learn. And people sometimes break up because of this thought process and belief in their mind that nothing is perfect and nothing's ever going to be perfect. But what people don't see is that people are different and they have different likes and dislikes and perspectives and opinions, and that shouldn't be like a dramatic difference between two people, but sometimes people just won't always have the same look on a relationship, and usually that's why people tend to break up. Someone may think and remember every little thing that has gone wrong in a relationship, and that can also drive them to break up with the other person. And that's my cognitive perspective. My humanistic perspective is my final perspective on breakups, and the humanistic psychology focuses on each individual potential and stresses the importance of growth and self-actualization. Sometimes people need space to grow and need time to find themselves, and realistically speaking, if it isn't being used as an excuse to break up, then I would have to say this is my favorite perspective on breakups. Not only because it makes sense and it's a legit reason to break up, but if there's any really good reason on why you should break up with another person other than cheating and serious stuff like that, I think this is an understanding reason. I mean, who wants to be held back from being themselves and living their life? You have to find out who you are and become self-actualized before you can start a relationship with someone. Not having time to yourself is a big reason to break up. Thanks.